their job or be under investigation. So I was doing a lot of shit in the rooms because I knew that staff couldn't come in. So as soon as before anything pop out, I'm like, yo, go see what officer it is. It was a male officer. You know we could be fucking for hours. I mean, butt naked like we at home. It's a female officer? Hell no, because the she can open the motherfucking door. So yeah, that shit was getting wild in there. It was something, man. It was something. I never thought prison was gonna be like that, you know. So it had its pros and its cons, you know, for real.
Did you want to get out?
Hell yeah, I wanted to get out. Like, I wanted to get out, but I had to stop getting in trouble so I can get the fuck out.
So G, baby, we're gonna talk about you, talk about your life. I mean, you got a crazy ass story. Some people are probably looking right now at the camera. They don't really know what time it is, but we're gonna tell them what it is, right? I know you're out there getting money, part of, you know, the blood gang at one time. You end up going to prison, doing a bunch of time. Tell the people who you are, where you're from. We're gonna get into your story because I think it's a crazy story.
All right, my name G Baby. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. You know, I did a lot of fed time. I also did a lot of state time. I was with, you know, this gang called G Shine back in the day, you know. I just got released July 27th this year, 2004. And I'm out here, and I mean, living my life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just I'm outside, you know.
2024, you got released.
Yeah, July 27th, 2004. Recently.
So tell me what your life was like growing up in Jersey, right? You're growing up in Newark. Tell me what your life was like.
Man, fast cars, money, drugs, guns, gang banging. My life was chaotic, you know. Out there in New Jersey, I could tell you right now, I didn't think I was going to make it to the age of 24. So I was reckless, wilding out, doing the most. You know, I was in a lot of gang activity and selling drugs. I ended up getting linked up with my cousins in Wilmington, North Carolina. And we was back and forth selling drugs out there in the port city. And we went down there. We started turning that shit up. I mean, one thing led to another. And I was just going down the wrong path. You know what I'm saying? But what really had led me into the gang life and down that path to ever begin with is growing up, I didn't have my father around. You know what I'm saying? So that abandonment alone led me into the gang life. And when I got into the gang life, that was like my second family. And once I entered the gang life, it was like, it was up from there, you know? I had a lot of respect in the gang life. I had a lot of love, and everything was what it was, you know?
Let me ask you this, though, because, you know, the gang life and all that, you were born a woman, right?
Yeah, speaking of that, yeah, biologically I was born a female, but I'm now transitioning to a male. Yeah, for sure.
Let me ask you this, though. I mean, you were a woman at the time. Did the homies accept you as like part of the team?
Yeah, they accepted me. Like, there was more like family. To them, I was like one of the guys. You know what I'm saying? So everything that they did, I did. I wasn't like your average female out there, you know, just throwing up gang signs or just rocking red or wearing a bandana. I was out there doing my thing, putting the work and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this. There's a big homie from Jersey, right? It might be from Newark. Massacre. Did you know who Massacre was? Got all the Fed time?
Yeah, I know Massacre. He know my father. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah. I mean, he was a very well-respected dude. I was in prison with him. Yeah. Whatever. So,
sure,
sure. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nah, for sure. Massacre, he well-respected. Everybody knew him. Even now to this day, his name gonna always ring bells. And for sure. Yeah.
Definitely one of the big homies, well-respected dude. So, you know, you're in the street, you know, like we see chicks throwing it up, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you were on some other shit. You were kind of on some real gangster shit, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going around just throwing them no gang signs. Like, if I ain't know you like that, I ain't really fuck with you like that. I mean, I was really on my shit. But the crazy thing with me is that on my mother's side, it was a lot of Grape Streets, Hoover 5 Deuce, and Playboy Crib, Kitchen Crib. And on my father's side, it was a lot of Double I, G-Shine, Paru, and all that stuff like that. So my main thing, I was about the money, but at the same time, it really would matter to respect with me. So I was banging my gang and everything, but respect went a long way. You know what I'm saying? So I was in a mix of a lot of shit. I was down in Jersey going to a lot of different neighborhoods that most Bloods really couldn't go to. But I was going to a lot of Crip neighborhoods and Blood neighborhoods because I was about the money and I respected them. They respected me. So not even just as a female, I went to school with a lot of them motherfuckers too. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of different
I mean,
versus
hey,
then growing up as a female in the society's eyes. It was different for me. The homies see me, like I said, as one of them. You know.
so you were out there getting busy. I mean, were you getting busy with the hands too if you had to?
Of course, that was first and foremost. The gunplay came afterwards if it had to. You know, that was just the life I was living. When you out there living that life and you gang banging, hey, ain't nobody thinking about no consequences. It just is what it is. We put in that work, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
You,
it's a crazy, it's a crazy story. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But you eventually you end up going to prison. You do a bunch of time. What happens? Why do you end up going to prison? I know you shoot somebody. What happens?
yeah, man. I ended up going to prison. Like I said, I was back and forth to Wilmington, North Carolina, and I was selling drugs down in Port City. But shit went wrong. I mean, with the gang life and shit, you know what I'm saying? And I end up, I mean, doing my thing, and motherfuckers down there, they end up snitching on me. So once they snitched on me, the feds end up picking me up. But the charges that I was charged with is murder, attempted murder, and armed robbery. The armed robbery was with the feds. They picked me up first, and then the murder and attempted murder was basically with the state, right? So the feds, they were trying to give me 120 or 30 months, right? And then the state, they was trying to give me first capital murder, and then 29 and a half years, then 24 and a half years, then 18 and a half years. I wasn't trying to take that, but they want to go no lower than 18 and a half. So I took that, and they ran it concurrent with the feds. So I did the feds time first. Now the crazy part about it is because when I went to court, you know, this is my first time ever in court, ever locked up, never been a juvenile. First charges ever in my life. So when I go in there and I see the judge and shit, you know, he looking at me ill, and I'm on some shit like, damn, man, this probably don't go in my favor, you know. So once he sentenced me, you know, I look back at my family and shit. They looking sad. Me, I'm like, shit. I've been in the county for like probably like a year and a couple of months, and I'm ready to get the fuck out of here and hit the yard so I get my time going. But that shit was chaotic in itself. But my time ran concurrent, and I end up hitting the yard. I've been to like 6 federal prisons, and I was in so many different prisons because I was fighting.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question. We're going to talk about that, right? We're going to talk about you in a woman's prison getting busy, but
Yeah, yeah,
what ends up? You're charged with murder. The person dies in this case.
yeah. The murder, the person died. And the armed robbery, um, basically, them motherfuckers they told on me, and then the attempted murder, I ended up shooting him. But this motherfucker, when he went to the hospital, and the police came in there and showing my photo. At this time, it wasn't no Facebook and all that. It was MySpace. So I was on MySpace, and this motherfucker, he told the police it was me, so he ratted me out. Now I'm on the run at this time, but then the dude for the murder, I had a co-defendant for the murder charge. He don't flee to Virginia. Now they link up with him. He telling me I visit back to Wilmington, North Carolina, because I'm not thinking they got a warrant out for my arrest, but they do. So I end up getting into some other shit, and then they bag me, and then I end up getting locked up because I was already snitched on, but I didn't know that the feds was out looking for me. You know?
Let me ask you this though, right?
Yeah.
Why do you end up killing this dude? I mean, what's it over? Do they rob you? What's going on? Why do you make that decision?
Well, see, that's the thing though, right? The murder charge, I never committed the murder. It wasn't me. It was my co-defendant. But when you in that cold ass room and them feds asking you all type of questions, some motherfuckers, hey, they fucking pipes just bust. You feel me? So everything that he did, he said that I did. So when they questioned me, I didn't know nothing, and I was sticking to my guns. I didn't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up getting the murder charge, and they took his word over mine. But the thing that I didn't know is, now remind you, when I'm going back and forth to New Jersey, I'm from New Jersey. When I'm going back and forth to Wilmington, North Carolina, the niggas that I'm linked up with, these are my cousin's homeboys. So I'm not really knowing these niggas. Little did I know, the nigga that was with me, he was a young nigga. He already had a quarter body, right? And they let him out. He was working with the police, but I didn't know that. So now that this charge come, when we both in there, he ended up getting out. And his thing was, he ended up working with the WPD, Wilmington Police Department, and getting 5 years probation. And I ended up getting all the time. And that was crazy because waking up in the cell every day And like, yo, like just for real, like I'm really fucking locked up. Now I'm coming from New Jersey. Nobody leaves the house thinking they're never gonna go back home. So I left the house, never going back home. I'm just getting released now. So that shit was insane to me because I never intended to like go to prison. Who does? It was like being kidnapped. Know what I mean? So now I'm in a whole other state.
How old were you at the time that you got sentenced? When you were arrested, how old were you?
Actually, I had just turned 19. I'm actually 35 right now. I just turned 35 in August.
So you go to jail at 19 and you come home at pretty much at 35.
Right. So a whole different world.
So what's that state prison system like for you to go into the state over there in Carolina, right?
Yeah. Man, the state, I'm gonna keep it a band. Like the state, it was ass. You feel me? The feds are so much better, but in the state, like the staff, like they be on bullshit. But when it comes to moving that work and shit, they with the shit. I mean, they definitely bringing in whatever you want. They down with you. Know what I'm saying? But when it come to the inmates and shit, they was nothing like the federal inmates. They wasn't about no action. It wasn't really like shit really popping off. I would have thought when I went to the state, it'd be more like open shit. Like we got the shanks, we got this, we got that. But it wasn't like that. It was really more laid back to a certain degree.
Well, let me stop you. You're in an all women's prison, right? In North Carolina.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, you're expecting
this is at the NCCIW in North Carolina.
Are chicks in there with shanks and fighting and shit?
Yeah, they beginning popping in there, but not like how they do in the feds. I mean, but they more careless. When I was in the state, I seen so many young people that was locked up for murder. It was like they had the mindset they didn't give a fuck. They motherfucking 19, 20, 21 locked up for murder. They know they not coming home, so they don't really got to give a care in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I'm coming from feds to state doing all that time. My mental is finish school program, go home. But it wasn't like that. It wasn't no cakewalk. So I really had to be beating them bitches up for the simple fact that, yo, they not caring. You know, so it was times that like I'm like, yo, I just beat this bitch up. Like, hold up. Should I go to sleep right now? You know what I'm saying? Because the bunks, like, you know, like when you go on an army base and you got 2-man bunks, but it's like 54 people in the room. But the whole rows are filled with bunks on each side and lockers in the middle. So anybody can come up to you at any given moment and do anything. You know what I'm saying? So I was always on my P's and Q's, but I wasn't really a type of person that people fuck with too much, you know? I really stood my ground. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta set the tone in that motherfucker, for real.
I mean, were the chicks scared of you? Were you like the shot caller when you were there?
I mean, it was a couple motherfucking shot callers, but in my part, yeah, I held shit down. But the thing about that is that they talk too much. They do a lot of telling. You know, they'll do some fuck shit and then they'll tell. But me, I ain't give a fuck. My main focus was to get home. But anybody got out of line with me, then I put them back in line, staff and all. I didn't give a fuck because it's my respect. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up.
So people, you made sure you demanded respect in there, and they gave you respect.
Yeah, of course. You got some people that get out of line, like you've been in there for a couple of years, and you got some new motherfuckers come in, and then they be trying to try you. So you gotta set the tone and put your foot on their fucking neck. Because if not, they're gonna think they can run over you. And staff, they're gonna just let it ride and turn the other cheek. Know what I mean? So you might have to whoop a staff ass too. For real.
If you jump on the staff in there.
Huh?
If you jump on the staff member, they don't give you a new case?
Well, see, that's the thing, right? In feds, when you fighting and the staff tell you, break it up, they probably tell you like 3 times. You don't, they either put your ass in the headlock, slamming you, or hey, you might pop up on them and they fighting you back. But nobody getting no charges. Now, in state, when you hit the feds, when you hit the state officers, they pulling out the mace, spraying your ass. You hit them, you definitely getting charged. So it was a difference. It was consequences behind that shit, but at the same time, it's either, yo, you pop up on the staff and whoop their ass, or they gonna spray your ass and you ain't better see shit. So it's like, hey, I'm already going to lock up for beating this bitch ass, so I might as well go ahead and get in with the staff too.
So let me ask you about chicks in there, right? I mean, obviously you're you're transitioning, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Are the chicks like flocking to you? Are you like, yo, I got a couple chicks? Like, how's it work? I mean, people want to
Oh
hear this.
yeah, man. Yeah, 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 for sure. I definitely had mad bitches in there, a plethora of bitches in there, like for real. Like so much so that like it used to be staffs in there, male staff that wanted to fuck my chicks. And I'm like, yeah, you can smash, but I'm like, yo, what's in it for me? At that time it was Western Union. So I'm like, yo, yeah, you can smash it, but make sure you, send that money to my shit on Western Union. And not even that, you know them tall ass things that you put your coffee in. I used to tell me, yo, bring me some vodka in. You know what I mean? So yeah, we used to be turning up. But it's so crazy because you have so many women, right, that are home now with their husbands and their boyfriends, and they always be saying what they would never do, or they not gay, or they not this and that. But all of them bitches, I was smashing so many motherfuckers' wives, you know what I mean? Because they was with the shit. So none of them could really point the finger like, hey yo, you gay, when they really doing the same thing. Like, so we used to be making the straps on the strap ons in there and everything. You feel me? Like I got some YouTube videos and shit, and I got that shit up there. I don't made the shit and everything, so you can see the shad. Like that shit real live action. Like for real.
Well, we'll definitely put your links up so people can go check out your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah,
But
no doubt.
so you're in there smashing chicks. I mean, they're falling in love with you in there.
Yeah, man. And it's so crazy because like they be like doing everything for you. Like, you know how like the old days, like the women do everything for the man. Like that's how that was in it. Like they doing everything, making my bed, ironing my clothes, cooking my food, washing my clothes. Know what I'm saying? Getting everything ready. Like it's like, yo. And then when you got multiple bitches, it's straight. But sometimes it got kind of chaotic because bitches fighting on you over you. Like just because you were one bitch, don't mean the next bitch respecting her. So it get out of hand in there, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like it's so many of them and only a few of me. Now you got the studs, but you don't have too many trans. You understand what I'm saying? And the studs are like aggressive girls, like tomboys. You know what I'm saying? So it was alright in there with that on that note, you know.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, at least for you. Let me. So, what are the cops paying you? I mean, what does it cost for them to, smash one of your
Well,
chicks?
to me, it all depends what they wanted to do with my girl. You feel me? Like they want to oral sex, I'm like 500. You feel me? If they wanted foreplay, I'm like 200. You know what I'm saying? If they wanted the whole thing, I'm like drop a stack. You feel me? And then sometimes I'll get them to bring her like different bra sets in and shit, like different lingerie. Or I tell them bring some weed in. At one time, like when I was in the feds, it was this federal officer that I was fucking with. I ain't gonna say her name and shit. This federal staff, she was SIS. You know, SIS when they investigate the cases, certain cases and shit. So I was fucking with her, and how she ended up linking up with me. I was walking with my bitch, and she used to tell me like she used to be like watching me and shit, right? So long story short, she ended up calling me down to her office. And when she called me down, she was telling me like she wanted to fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? And I was kind of shocked because I'm looking at her like funny because you SIS. I don't know you trying to set me up or what. You know what I'm saying? And get me locked up. But so we end up smashing, but this how that worked. She would call me from the unit over the intercom like at like 6, 7 in the morning. So I'll go down there and I'm in her office, but she seduced me saying that she would bring shit in. So I'm like, all right. So we would go down to her office and I'm in the office probably for like an hour. We doing our thing. You feel me? And then I'll leave from there. But she would call me so much because she worked Monday through Friday. So when people would ask me why they always call me, I'm saying I'm doing extra duty because I just got off the shoot, which is the special housing unit. I stayed in the shoot. So most inmates thought it was like basically yard duty. You know what I'm saying? And basically we was in there talking, and I would say like yeah, cause she got me writing why I'm in prison, why I'm in trouble, but that's shit I was just making up so it won't like be so obvious. You know what I'm saying? But I ended up getting transferred, so that's why I had to stop fucking with that staff officer.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that in a minute. I want to reverse, but I do want to come back to the SIS.
No doubt, no doubt.
Let me ask you this, right? You said that in Carolina, right, in the state system, the police were bringing in that bag, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting a couple dollars over there.
For sure.
How do you turn a staff member to bring in drugs, man? I'm just curious.
Well, see, okay, in Raleigh, North Carolina, NCCIW is easier. All they want is money. So like a staff, they really observing. They see who fucking with who, what inmates is cool with who. Then I mean, they just pull up on you because in NCCIW, them bitches was ghetto as hell. Them staff officers. So one of them, she put up on me. You know what I'm saying? And she asked me certain shit. So at the time, like I don't know. You feel me? I don't know because it was kind of awkward because I don't know her. You understand what I'm saying? But on another note, I know somebody else that was fucking around with the shit. You feel me? Because when I got to state, I wasn't moving no work or nothing like that. Only in the feds because I was more comfortable. In the state, in the state, they was telling too much. They was talking too much. So anyway, an officer basically just come up to you and they see who you fucking with and they say, yo, like you got some money, you be getting money. And then they talk, yeah, I be getting money, woo woo woo, tapping and shit. And then they be like, all right, well look, if I bring this into you, I'll make sure you get this much. I'll make sure I got your back. You get any trouble, I'll make sure that you get out the hole. Just make sure that you have my money and you send it to this Cash App. And I'll be bringing it in like this. So this way, when I bring it into you, you already know what to do. So how they would bring it in, like some of them would have it in their pocketbook and some would have it in their vagina. You feel me? So when they coming through, basically, say like they want to do a drug test. So now it's the officer and you in the room. So when you go in there, now they just passing it off to you like that. You know what I'm saying? And then like you on a yard and you moving to work. You feel me? And it just go like that. And how they get their money, you have a person from outside that you know, or they have a person from outside that they know, and the person that you know and the person that the officer know will link up to get the money right. You get what I'm saying? And you go from there.
Let me take you back to federal prison, right? Were you ever in Aliceville or no?
Yeah, I was in I'm gonna give it to you in this order what prisons I was in. First, I started off at Danbury, which is in Connecticut. Danbury, Dublin, California, Hazleton, West Virginia. Danbury, Dublin, Hazleton. Wasika. I think that's in Wisconsin. Oh no, Minnesota. Wasika, Ottersville, and Tallahassee. So I was in all of those prisons.
Talk a little bit about Aliceville. You might know. Did you know a chick over there named Sarah Blair by any chance?
Sarah Blair. No, I don't know her.
She
probably know me though. A lot of people knew me.
She was probably getting a couple dollars, right? Had a bunch of time out of Philly, bank robbery. I think it was out of Philly. But you're over here. You talk about this SIS officer. I'm not asking you no names, but could you tell us what prison?
Yeah, this was in Dublin, California. And you know the crazy part about it though?
Mexican chick.
Yeah. A white female officer. The crazy part about it, right? Because this was already going on. Like the staff fucking with the inmates. But I was the first one to fuck with the SIS officer. But the crazy part about it is I just found out that they closed Dublin down. But when I found out, I wasn't surprised because it was a matter of time. It was a matter of time.
Let's talk about Dublin. It's been all over the news the last year and a half, right? They shut it down. The warden's going in units, banging chicks in units, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yo, that was a regular. Like that wasn't nothing new. They was doing that on the regular. So much so that the warden, he will blackmail you. You understand? He will blackmail you just to get what he want. The wardens that I was there, and I was there for 2 wardens. One warden I knew from another prison. He transferred to Dublin, but that's something like that was something that was regular. Like that was nothing new to the offenders that was inside the institution. Maybe to people out into society, it was new, and like, damn, that's really going on. This been going on for years. It was going on for years. At one point in time, before I even got into federal prison, right? It was a dude, he was fucking all the women, right? He ended up giving them HIV. And then in the parking lot, he blew his own brains out. Like, shit be wild. Like, staff, yo, they be doing their big ones. And that's why I don't be listening to them like that, because they want you to listen and follow authorities when they breaking all the fucking rules. You know what I mean? They was double standard.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely outrageous. The warden gets arrested. I mean, the lieutenant's over there, gets arrested, gets federal time. So you're in this prison. You go to prison at 19. Obviously not an easy, thing to accept. You were in the street, obviously. I mean, you catch a murder case that you didn't do, but you get a bunch of time. You're in the feds. What is the life like in the feds, though, outside of all the, the drugs dealing and the staff doing crazy shit? I mean, is it ganged up? Blacks stick with blacks, whites with whites, Mexicans with Mexicans? What's it like in there?
See, in the feds and the female joint, it was like a college campus. and shit got crazy a lot of times though, you know. So it wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was like how I be in a men's joint where everybody is just sticking with their own kind. You had that though. You really had like, yeah, you had the blacks with the blacks and the Mexicans with the Mexicans. But a lot of times we really all connected in a sense, especially when it came to selling drugs and shit. When it came to selling drugs, we was all getting money. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if some shit get out of hand, then I could definitely say, besides the blacks, you had the Mexicans and the natives who was deep as hell. And the natives and the Hawaiians, they linked up a lot of times. But see, it all depends where you was at. So when I was in Danbury, it was a lot of the blacks linked up. And like you have a lot of the DCs with 007. So in DC, anytime they get a charge, they go straight to the feds. So they were the deepest ones in there in every facility that you went to in a female joint. The chicks from DC, the blacks. And then say you went to Dublin, you had a lot of the M13s. They was tight and deep out there. And you had a lot of the natives. They was tight and deep out there. And the Samoans. The Samoans, they was holding shit down. But see, me, I was cordial with everybody. I mean, but I really fuck with the Mexicans because they was loyal to me the most, surprisingly. So I fuck with them the most. And plus, a lot of my girlfriends was Mexican. So I fuck with them the most, you know? And like, they really be putting it in. So it's like, some shit pop off, they don't mind making a shank. They don't mind cutting a bitch face. So I fuck with them the most because they ain't give a fuck like I ain't give a fuck. And I just came in real young, so I had the I ain't give a fuck mindset. So I was fucking with the Mexicans heavy. I fuck with my own kind too, but the Mexicans, I was fucking with them because they was fucking with me. They was loyal to me.
How about the DC black chicks? I mean, what were they like?
Hey man, them motherfuckers, they turned the fuck up. They the loudest motherfuckers there. Like they'd jump you, they'd cut you, they whatever. So I fuck with them too. I mean, but sometimes they got a little bit too crazy, and I'm like, yo, y'all wilding. So I mean, but I can definitely say they was the deepest and they went the hardest. I don't give a fuck what prison I went to out of them 6 prisons. Them DC motherfuckers, them 007s, they was the wildest ones. They was the wildest ones, hands down.
Some of the wildest ones. So I know you talked about you went to the hole a lot. I mean, what do you end up fighting with all these chicks over?
Man, a lot of times it was relationship type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you would have a motherfucking aggressive chick who's mad at me because I don't fuck they bitch, or they mad at me because they jealous and envious. You know what I'm saying? And then some of them feel like I shouldn't even be there because me transitioning to a male, they feel like I shouldn't even be in the prison. It got to the point that I was fucking them up so bad that in the feds and the state, they threatened me. If I put my hands on one more person, they're going to charge me with domestic violence because it's like a man beating on a female, which is some bullshit because I'm housed here. But you had other transgenders there, which is the M and the S, is me, male to female. And they was in there. Some of them, they still had their dicks. You feel me? But they in there, and like they rather be in there because they don't want to go to the men's joints because they don't want that ass to get taken. You feel me? But they in there walking around with they tight uniforms on, looking like bitches and shit. And that's all fine and dandy because they part of my community and shit. But they was able to do more than me. I mean, to the point that they walking around with a bitch with their dick and they saying that they female, but they fucking these bitches. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, this shit wild. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you, what has happened to the federal prison system? I remember, right? When I went in, I went in 03, right? That's when I got arrested. Yeah. And I remember when I ended up going to a low and they were selling panties on the men's commissary. And I had never seen that. And I'm like, wow, prison done changed, man.
I could definitely say this, right? So I started my injections in 2017 when I was at Wasika, right? And we had accommodations. So if I wanted boxer briefs, I wanted binders, if I wanted male cologne, anything that the men can get at their institution, I was able to get. But then you had those who were not trans and who were just aggressive femmes like studs. They wanted those same things, but they could not get them. They had to fight for those things. When I always had the warden put them on the canteen. And like, it was just crazy because now it's totally different. Now they're putting those things on the canteen. So anybody's able to purchase those things, you know? And then when it comes to the opposite of me, the other transgenders, they have no choice but to accommodate them. and get them whatever type panties and bras they want. And the institution, they may be giving the women like 10 white bloomers, them big ass panties, right? But then you got the other one, the other transgenders that's opposite than me, they getting nice panties and nice bras. I mean, different perfumes, socks. They getting different shit. And then like when they done got their surgery, so they got to put like a tube inside their vagina to keep the hole open. They had to accommodate them with that. You know what I'm saying? It was just and then they got this thing called like a STP, a stand to piss. So I asked for that from a psychologist, and they had to order me that so I could stand up and piss. Yeah, so we get a lot of.
Let me ask you this: so all this stuff that you want, you don't have to pay for any of it. Taxpayers are paying for this.
Nah, taxpayers are definitely paying for it. I was actually supposed to get my full surgery, but COVID
You've been working them people, huh?
Yeah, what? Listen, I was the type of motherfucker. I went there when you go in the law library, they got the computer, and on the computer, you could check out so many different laws, so much so that you can get yourself out of prison because you were able to compare your case to another case and send it to the judge. So while I was on that computer, I was able to look up not just rules and regulations, but the policy. So once I found out the policy, it was in black and white. The policy not just for inmates, it's for staff too. So when I found that out, I started putting up fucking paperwork in their life. So I ended up getting my full hysterectomy. I was supposed to get my top surgery, but COVID had hit, and it was no transferring at the time, so I couldn't go out to get my surgery. So when I went to state, that's when they ended up doing my full hysterectomy. They would have paid for everything, but I didn't get a chance because I got transferred to the state. The state don't pay for everything, but the feds pay for everything. And that shit was crazy in itself, but I really wish that, like, damn, COVID didn't hit, because then I would have got my whole surgery. You know what I'm saying?
You're running around with the Aki beard and all that. The chicks are digging you like you're a dude.
Yeah, man, that shit was wild, man, for real. Like, for real, man. And like I said, like, bitches was getting their face cut up and everything, like, just on some relationship shit. You know what I'm saying? So much so that, like, if I was to transfer from California from California to Danbury, which is miles away, my bitch, she coming behind me. You feel me? But what I didn't like, though, is in the state, what they end up doing, say they got to move from their girlfriend and shit, right? They was cutting, so they be cutting themselves so they won't have to move from their girlfriend. Like, everybody was cutting themselves in that motherfucker. And it was so crazy to me because I never been around nothing like that in my life, you know? So everybody was just cutting their wrists and shit so they won't get transferred. And I'm like, yo, this shit crazy up in this motherfucker. It's time to get the fuck up out of here. Word up.
Let me ask you this, right? I mean, when you're in prison, you go young. What's your thoughts when you get out of prison? Are you just living a prison life? Like, yo, I'm transitioning. I'm around a bunch of chicks. What are you thinking in your mind? Like, yo, I'm about to get out when I'm 35. What are you thinking you're gonna do with your life? That's what I want to know.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep it a band. When I knew I was getting out, the first things I thought about was like, damn, I'm about to get out into this world and society that I have not been out into in so long. I wonder what friends are alive. I wonder what friends are dead. I wonder who got kids, who don't. I wonder how shit gonna be for me when I get out. Because at the time when I was in prison, I was dealing with some racism at Wasika. You know what I'm saying? And that shit was kind of traumatizing. So I was thinking I was gonna have to deal with that too, not just the racism, but just me transitioning as in who I am. And I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to be dealing with that too. But when I got out here, it was so open, and it was different. Yeah, I see a lot of chicks, but the crazy part about it is I'm a social person and I got a lot of bitches. But now that I'm out, I'm shy. I'm shy to be talking to bitches, and you know what I mean? Because I'm leery. And like, it's kind of weird. So I'm still trying to break out of that. But I had a situation, right? Because people feel like when you get out, damn, we have the like us as offenders, we like, well, I'm gonna speak for me. I got out and it was like, damn, I'm dealing with everybody in society, man. It's just tough. But what people fail to realize is that people are dealing with you too. Like your family, your relatives that was holding you down while you were locked up, now that you get out, they are dealing with someone who was incarcerated. So you still have that incarcerated mind and your experiences that they have no clue about and they cannot understand. So me and my mom, right? We was going places to get my shit, like my license, my ID, and things like that, right? And I got my phone, so I'm not really know how to work the phone that good, but she's helping me, right? So we at a place, and she's telling me how to do this. Now, and my mental, I'm like, yo, she's speaking out loud, like she's telling me, like, go to this and go to that. We got people behind me on the side view, so I'm thinking in my mind, like, damn, this person gonna be wondering, like, how the fuck they don't know that in the phone? What this motherfucker was at all this time under a rock, you know? So my paranoia kicked in, and my self consciousness was like really fucking with me because I'm like, damn, everybody gonna know I'm out of prison, but all this shit is really in my head. So I tell my mom, I said, listen, like, don't say it so loud, like just whisper it, or just tell me when we get in the car because I don't want everybody to know that I just got out of prison, you know? And she's like, nobody give a fuck about you getting out of prison. You ain't the only one that just got out of prison. You know, like people not even in that conversation. But my point is, I was so paranoid around so many people, and then so like subconscious and embarrassed that everybody would know that I just got out of prison and not know how to work no phone and not know a lot of shit about the technology. So it was kind of tough. Even now, I'm still working on a lot of shit with this motherfucking iPhone. You feel me? Motherfuckers be calling me, and I say, hold on, I'll be trying to click over. I hang up on the motherfuckers. You feel me? So I really feel like they need to have some shit for that, like re-entry. But when motherfuckers get out, they able to learn how to do like a lot of shit with technology because you're gonna need that when you get to start working and shit, you know? And I'm gonna be honest, like, this shit is not easy getting out of prison. Some people think, oh, it's gonna be easy when I get out. You got all these plans when you in there, what you gonna do. It's possible, but at the same time, you gotta have patience with yourself and take step by step. I mean, it's good to have that team behind you, that family support, because I'm gonna tell you, man, it's times that I be getting frustrated and stressed out. You put in motherfucking applications, right? And then instead of you seeing them face to face, I'm used to like you seeing motherfuckers face to face, have an interview, get the job. They keep sending me to the motherfucking website, and I'm like, what the fuck? So now I'm calling, seeing what they said about my application. I'm talking to fucking motherfucking computers and shit, and I'm like, yo, this shit crazy, yo. This shit killing my fucking vibe. So even now, me out right now, I haven't even got a job yet, right? Cause it's so motherfucking hard. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn. So like, I want some shit like, fuck it, I'm about to just go ahead and do what I was gonna do, my entrepreneur shit. But the only reason I wanted to get a job is so that as I'm building my credit and I go for basically a business loan, I'm able to pay them back, you know, from my work pay versus then getting out, starting on my own business and being stressed out. Because what if right off the rip, what if your business not bringing in enough money right away to pay this back? I don't want to fuck on my credit. The world is going off credit now, so that should be frustrating, yo. Like real talk, it's not something easy, but you just got to be patient, man. Real talk. So all the plans that I have, I still have them. But if a person getting out and think they about to just take off just like that, it don't always work like that. Ain't shit gonna be happening overnight, for real. And that's how the shit is.
You know, let me ask you this, right? Because you're in this prison like Dublin and these other places. It seems like kind of like they're having some P. Diddy freak offs, man. Like, I mean, it's
man. Hey, yo, real talk, yo, it was like that. And then like like I ain't gonna hold you, like I was practicing Islam, you know, so I was a Muslim, you know, and I had credit to Islam.
Let me stop you.
I'm gonna keep it 100, bro. Yo, listen.
You done been in everything. Hey, you done been in everything but a good man's arms. What's going on?
Hey, man, that was the life I was living, man. So I had multiple chicks. I mean, like, even like at one time I had like 3 Muslim women. You feel me? Like, and then it was like everybody knew about each other. But every prison I went to, I always had 2 chicks. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot going on in there. It was times that I had threesomes, I had foursomes, and then like certain prisons it was cool. Like in Dublin, it was cool because you got the room with 3 beds in it and you got the door. If you put the wiki up, the officer not going to come in because it's a female prison. So they got to knock because they can't see you naked because then that's PREA. You know, the Prison Rape Elimination Act. I mean, and they don't want to get no PREA because they could lose their job or be under investigation. So I was doing a lot of shit in the rooms because I knew that staff couldn't come in. So as soon as before anything pop out, I'm like, yo, go see what officer it is. it was a male officer, we know we could be fucking for hours. I mean, butt naked like we at home. If it was a female officer, hell no, because then she can open the motherfucking door. So yeah, that shit was getting wild in there. It was something, man. It was something. I never thought prison was gonna be like that, you know. So it had its pros and its cons, you know, for real.
Did you want to get out?
Hell yeah, I wanted to get out. Like I wanted to get out, but I had to stop getting in trouble so I can get the fuck out. But the staff fuck with me so heavy at a lot of the prisons, except Wasika. They fuck with me so heavy that when I was working, man, they be taking me to like say like okay, all the staff were home, so now you got the staff that's working on the yard. Well, I work on the yard, but they my bosses in there, so they letting me come out. I'm going to the gym. I'm fucking in the gym office. I'm fucking in the gym shack. Like I'm fucking all over the motherfucking prison. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool. But the thing about it though, right, is that when I end up going to state, right, I swear to you not, yo, what they got, they had it like you know how they had corona out here, like the pandemic, and there they got the fucking herpes pandemic. So you could not be fucking around. Like staff thought they come in there and fuck chicks and everything be good. Oh yeah. They end up fucking getting herpes. The motherfucking nurses from the free world had to come inside the prison and have a meeting and tell people stop fucking each other, stop passing these herpes. They was passing like crazy, like it was candy. Like motherfuckers know each other have it, and they don't even give a fuck. They fuck with them. So when I was in the state, I wasn't fucking with chicks like that because that shit was wild. I came into prison with nothing. I was leaving with nothing, and that's how that went. But that shit was not cool. So it's like all the shit that I was doing in the feds when I got to the state, it was a halt because they don't care. They don't care. And yo, it just was wild, man. It was wild.
Yes,
and then
yes.
like
Any of the homies used to be around, see you since you got out with the beard and all that?
oh yeah. Yo, especially when they see me on the social media and shit. So at first it's kind of like whoa. Then it's like, well, we knew your ass was like somewhere in that area. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just like a tomboy before I went in. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't have the face yet. I was taking the pills, but I was getting them shits off the black market at the time, you know? And the weight. But it wasn't giving me the effects that I wanted. So when I got the injections, they was giving me the effects. So now they see me now, and I'm looking like they ass. But it's like, they still fuck me regardless. You know what I mean? Because it was not something so new to them. It was more of the shock of the features of the transition, you know? And it was like, damn, like, yo, you really a nigga like me, yo? Like, so they be so curious and having so many questions. But what I do tend to do, even besides the homies, right? When I meet a chick, and we vibing and shit, before we even go to the next step, like I'll let her know because I want to give her the choice to choose if she want to fuck with me or not. I mean, because when a person just see me like this and they don't know, they're automatically like, hey yo, that's a man right there. But I don't be want to confuse motherfuckers. That's the difference between me and the other transgenders. The other transgenders, they be like undercover with the shit. And that's why they be having issues. Not that they be looking for issues, they just being themselves. But me, I don't have a problem. I'm comfortable with putting who I am on display because I want motherfuckers to know. You understand what I'm saying? Now, even though I'm going through my whole transition and I identify as male, I don't keep that a secret because, yeah, I already got the full hysterectomy and I'm going to get the top surgery. But the bottom surgery, I be kind of leery about because it's a 40-60% chance that it may work or may not work. So who wants to take a chance getting that bottom surgery and now next thing you know your dick don't work? So now you just got it for sure. That's like suicide, you know what I'm saying? So when more technology come, then I'll probably fuck with it. But yeah, it was not too much of a shock for them that much, you know. So they used to it now.
So, you know, you're out now, right? It's hard to get a job. You talked about that. You were in prison getting a couple of hours, still hustling. Has the hustle mentality left as far as, you know, getting back into illegal shit? Or do you feel like sometimes like, I got to get back in the street?
Nah, fuck no, man, because I've been locked up so long and I got family out here that love and care for me. For me to go back selling drugs, it's too easy. It's too easy. But as you see nowadays, everybody's selling. And if I go back, I'm going to be in there for a little minute. So it's not even worth it. Now, the hustle mentality, like as far as the enthusiasm to grind, it's still in me. It's still in me. It's not going nowhere. Like I'm enthusiastic as a motherfucker
The
to
right
get out
way.
there and
The right
grind.
way now.
The right way. Legitimately. I want everything legit this time. I don't want the feds to take a motherfucking thing from me. No more. Like for real. It's crazy.
And definitely not years of your life, right?
No, not at all. It's not worth it. It's so much freedom out here, man. It's like when I was young, I was ignorant. I wasn't thinking. I'm out there doing the most. Shooting, motherfuckers, selling drugs, stealing cars, beating motherfuckers up, piss with motherfuckers. Like gang banging heavy, like that's my motherfucking life to the day I die. And shit, for real, so many motherfuckers that snitched on me and try to jump on my case. So many motherfucking homies ain't your homies and your friends. Niggas ain't for you for real. So it's like, I don't even be fucking with that shit like that. I'm just focused on myself and family and getting everything in order as I should so I can just climb the ladder to be successful. The other shit is for the birds. It's in the way. Nobody want to go back to prison. Anybody doing dumb shit when they get out of prison, they stupid. They stupid, man. And that's probably the only place that they feel loved and known that because they don't got no family out here. So they probably feel good when they go and everybody like, yo, what's up? Such and such in here. Woo-doo. Fuck all that. They can have that shit. I'm good on that.
So you're all the way done with the street life.
Damn right. It ain't worth it, man. Hey, listen. A bullet ain't got no name and the streets don't love nobody. Loyalty and friendship is like that shit don't even motherfucking exist. The only thing that matters to me is family because that's the real wealth to me.
Glad you see it. I'm glad that you see it. And I hope that you stay out of prison, right? So look, before we get ready to go, man, tell the people where they can find you because you said you got your own YouTube channel, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I got my IG, which is Quay 2Wavy 100, and then I got my Facebook at Jaquay Banks, and then I got what else I got? I got my TikTok at GBaby underscore 100, and then I got my YouTube at GBaby the Don. So I mean, check me out, man. Like then I always got stories up there. I'm dropping stories all the time, just giving the people my life experience, my prison experience, and just the real. I mean, it's nothing sugarcoated. You know what I'm saying? It's the Prison Chronicles, real talk.
That's what's up. Look, man, I appreciate you coming on,
Yeah,
sharing
no
your
doubt,
story,
man.
sharing your experiences. I'm going to tell people, man, to check you out, check out your links. You're going to send them to me
No
on the
doubt.
email. I'm going to cut and paste them and put them on the video for you. But
No doubt, man.
definitely appreciate you. Blood on the razor wire with respect. Until tomorrow, we're out.